What is up, YouTubes? Time for our pre-release guide for the latest expansion set, Strixhaven School of Mages. Think of this guide as a campus tour because MTG is diving into the magical school genre. In this guide, I'll do a quick overview of Strixhaven's design, then go through the new set mechanics, move on to the colleges and the set archetypes, reviewing their game plan and showing you their best cards, and end with tips on how to go about building your deck to help you take down your pre-release or sealed event. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more Magic the Gathering videos, and comment with any questions you have. Let's get into it. Strixhaven was a bottom-up design set, meaning they start with the mechanics and design the set and flavor around those mechanics. With it being a magical school genre set, spells are gonna matter. And you should know the archetypes are designed around the 5 enemy color pairings. Each archetype is a college at Strixhaven. They bear the name of their founding Elder Dragon, which means we're getting 5 new enemy color Elder Dragons, and each goes about their wizarding pursuits in their own unique way, sometimes in a way not often found or expected with these color pairings. Now let's dive into the set mechanics, starting with Magecraft. It's an ability keyword that reads, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, do something, like Liliana showing up as Professor Onyx, and her Magecraft ability is we gain 2 life and our opponent loses 2 life. Another new mechanic is Learn, which introduces a new kind of card, Lessons. When you learn, you can get a lesson card from your sideboard, or you can just discard a card and draw a card, or you can do nothing, which seems kind of weird to pay a cost and then do nothing, but is on flavor if you ever skipped a college class. Anyway, looking at the lesson cards, they are all sorceries that can help you summon your school's token creature mascot, or remove your opponent's mascot, or just keep doing stuff, but because lessons add a level of consistency to your deck, the spells are often overcosted for what they do. You can identify them by the scroll and quill in the upper left-hand corner, and you'll have a decision to make because you can play them in the main deck or leave them in the sideboard, but we'll talk about that a bit more later on. Our third new mechanic is Ward, a new evergreen keyword ability that says whenever a permanent with Ward becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless your opponent pays an additional cost. We also have modal double-face cards coming back, and these are where we find the deans of the colleges. They're pretty sweet, so be sure to read through them carefully, because you'll also notice Strixhaven has a lot of text on their cards, like too much. But let's keep this campus tour moving to the Mystical Archive Library. This is not a mechanic, but the Mystical Archive is a unique card slot in every draft booster pack. This includes packs you open playing at your LGS and on MTG Arena. Draft booster packs will all have a Mystical Archive card from this subset of 63 spells that have been picked from throughout Magic's history. Some are good, some are not so good, but this bonus card will ensure no 2 drafts or pre-releases or sealed events are the same. I'll link my review video if you want to peruse through all 63 cards and get an idea of the spells contained in this special library. But for now, let's get back to Strixhaven and what's going on with our colleges. Each college is made up of an enemy color pairing, and the most important gold cards to know, aside from the mythic rare Elder Dragon, is the uncommon legendary student, which is a signpost for what the college wants to do, and is an engine for making that college's game plan happen. First, we have Silverquill and their legendary student Killian. Silverquill is white-black and focused on going wide, and then using pump spells to overwhelm their rivals. They go wide with cheap creatures, and by creating these new black Inkling creature tokens. You should also know Silverquill has the most amount of flying in the set. They bring a good deal of removal, and as creatures die, they may look to share 1/1 counters to keep making every creature they have a threat. They want to win the race, they want to be evasive, and use pump spells to prevent their opponent from ever stabilizing, and I think Silverquill will be more competitive than we've typically seen white-black be at a pre-release. Next is Prismari. They are blue-red, and our legendary student is Rutha. Here we want to cast and copy big spells. They get rolling once they can start casting instants and sorceries with 5 mana value and up. Some creatures make it cheaper to do so. Other spells and cards give you a way to create treasure tokens so you can ramp into those big spells quicker. And they like to create 4/4 elemental creature tokens and trigger Magecraft a lot. It's important to note too that there's only a couple counter spells in the set, so it's not about blue trying to stop what their opponent is doing. It's about being bigger and better than what their opponent can do. Now, Lorehold and Quintorius is red-white and focused on spirits and cards leaving your graveyard. The thing I have to keep remembering is these spirits don't have flying. They are on the ground and want to battle. Blocking against Lorehold creatures is tough because sometimes that creature going to the graveyard is also just as bad as taking the damage. And even if our opponent does manage to gum up the board, our apprentice gives spirits the ability to just ping them down. so white-red is able to be a bit more controlling than we're used to. They can be just as aggro, and using the graveyard is all kinds of fun stuff. So good job, Lorehold, switching it up from their normal all-out aggro game plan. Then we have Quandrix and Zimone, who wants to count all the things. We also get added benefits when we get to 8 lands in play. But blue-green isn't reinventing the wheel here. You want to get ahead on cards, play some disruption because you're in blue, and then play big powerful bodies that take over the game because you're in green. If you get to the late game, no one should be able to keep up. You just got to make sure you get there. But once you do, it should be fun going through the multiple ways you have available to win the game. And the last college to visit is Witherbloom, and Dina may give all the other archetypes a run for their money. They are black, green, and centered on life gain. Either you're gaining life because it helps you win, or you're draining your opponent of their life because it helps you win, or you're buying time for your monstrously large green creatures because they'll trample over your opponent and definitely help you win. Our mascot here are pests, which can be pesky for our opponent to deal with because when they die, they gain us life. We also have solid removal spells, and we even have the biggest creatures like an 11/10 demon, but we do need those pests to sacrifice as fodder. With our synergy pieces, we can be near impossible to beat on the battlefield. Without them, we may be throwing bug-sized solutions at demon-sized problems. So which college do you want to run with in your pre-release? I rank the colleges as such, with my tier 1 options being Silverquill, Lorehold, and Witherbloom. In tier 2, I have Quandrix and Prismari, mostly because I see tier 1 as having more effective plays early that can be hard to stabilize against, but if they stumble or tier 2 gets off to a good start, they will outscale those, and they will swing the game in their favor real quick. Now, regardless of how I or anyone else ranks them, the most important thing is always maximizing the power of what is in your pre-release kit. Which reminds me, we should go over what's in a Strixhaven pre-release kit. Each kit will be aligned with a college, but it is a minor alignment. Inside each kit, you find a random pre-release dated foil, rare, or mythic, 6 booster packs, with 5 of those being draft booster packs, and 1 a college booster pack. The unique thing about the college booster pack is that it will have a guaranteed rare or mythic aligned with that school's colors. But that's it. Is that enough to guarantee you wind up playing that color pair? No, but if you are excited about playing one of the colleges, getting their pre-release kit will help get you that much closer to it being the best color pair for your card pool. Now let's dive into deck building tips for once you crack open your kit. My first recommendation, have early interaction. You want to be able to respond to those great early gold cards your opponent plays. Look for removal cards like Expel, Flunk, Lash of Malice, Igneous Inspiration, Heated Debate, and Mage Duel. Having bounce can be just as good as removal too when you target tokens. My second recommendation is play cheap combat tricks. There are great 1-mana value spells that not only help your attacking creatures out, but also trigger Magecraft. Personal favorite is Make Your Mark, to help a creature trade up and leave you with a 3/2 body. There's also Charge Through, Fortifying Drought, Professor's Warning, and if you're in a good spot, Academic Dispute, which can act as pseudo-removal while replacing itself with a lesson. There's more options at 2-mana value as well, like Arcane Subtraction, so if your opponent has even 1 or 2 mana up, be wary of a trick. Now my third tip in building a strong deck in Strixhaven is walk through how you want your deck to play. If you're playing for the late game, how are you ensuring you get there? Make sure you still have plenty of early game options to either gum up the board or remove early threats. If you're more aggro, how do you handle when your opponent drops that high-costed or bigger creature that can turn the game in their favor? Can you save removal for it, or can you match it with a bomb of your own? And I'm asking these questions, or asking them to myself, running through them in my mind, because I think building a great deck in Strixhaven is as difficult in this set as it's been in any set over the last few years, because we have so many variables to juggle. First, there's the Mystical Archive cards, right, which the artwork alone will probably eat up 10 minutes of your time you have to build your deck. Then you got the Lesson Learn cards, which are somewhat inefficient, but if you have enough Magecraft to make it work, maybe you need to play more of those because you need the cards to trigger the Magecraft and get that value. And we're just torn between maybe it's just diving into the college synergies and fixating on those 2 colors and not worrying about the other mechanics or splashing or any of that stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do when I open my pre-release kit, when I have all my cards laid out, is I'm going to check which college color pairing is the best supported. Once I find that, I'm going to see, do I have any gaps in my bombs, in my early game, in removal, and can I fill those with lesson learn cards, or do I need to splash into a 3rd color for it? And in this set, thankfully, there's a good amount of mana fixing. We have the common and rare dual lands for each college, there's the lands that filter for any color, we got an artifact with Letter of Acceptance, and the generic mana costed lesson spell. Blue-red also makes treasures, which means for once green is not the hands-down best color to splash in because they just have the rare elf. Hopefully going through those steps makes your game plan and your deck building process streamlined enough and simple enough that you can build the best deck possible for your pre-release kit. But that's going to do it for me. I hope we get to go to a pre-release. I hope we get to go to one and you can play in it safely and all that fun stuff. I'm still going to have a draft guide video coming out, so be sure to subscribe and check out that video once it does hit, because I think Strixhaven has so much going on that I need to make a dedicated sealed pre-release video and a draft video just to make sure we're weighing the proper pros and cons depending on the format we're playing in. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Best of luck, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Card Kingdom for sponsoring the channel. If you need any Strixhaven cards that you don't open in your pre-release kit, check them out. I got my affiliate link in the description. Just let them know I sent you. Be much appreciated if you do use it. And then thank you to my patrons who make this content possible as well. Y'all are awesome, and if you want to become one, I wouldn't mind it. You know, that'd be kind of cool. Take it easy. Best of luck at your pre-release. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.